I'm alive. Welcome back to the LOOPcast. It's Tom, Erica, and Josh. The LOOPcast brought to you by The Loop, every American Catholic's favorite morning newsletter. We're dealing with some Amazon Web Services outages right now. So the platform we're using to stream is struggling. If we have problems, usually it's on me. My camera shuts off like twice an episode, so it's not me. This is on Amazon. This is bigger than us. This is bigger than me. But we got a great show prepared for you today if we can get through it. I had Erica look into these pesky narco-terrorism examples going on the weekend. I feel like it's kind of been bumped. We have the way we put together the show, we have like an A block, B block, C block, church block. It's always been in that C block. Like, what is going on in Venezuela? Covert operations, CIA covert operations, just, I guess not so covert if you're announcing
Whoever
it.
heard of that, yeah.
And then we just sanctioned Colombia. So a lot of things moving there. We really want to give a full picture. Where did it start? Where are we headed? Where, what's going to eventually happen there in that region? I hear things like regime change. People want to set their hair on fire. Me included. So we're doing that. And then we also had the reason No Kings protest is going to be in the B block today. I feel like it was pretty uneventful. I do have some highlights. I have some lowlights. They were all over the country. People are fighting over size. MSNBC is showing old footage to make it look bigger. Who knows? We're going to get to the bottom of it. What happened over the weekend? And then C block, we have 7 new saints in the Catholic Church. Now, this is our treat to get through to the end of the episode. I have some summaries. We want to talk about all of them. Fantastic news as a Catholic. Bartolo Longo. That's a Josh hobby horse right there. So again, Candy, we get to say that for the end of the episode. But of course, we have good news. We have Twilight Zone. Everything you love about the LOOPcast we'll have today. But before we get to that, Erica, why can we do the show?
From God's hand to your skin, Nazareth Organics is a Catholic family-owned skincare company that handcrafts premium balms and serums using clean ingredients from nature. They just released a new product this month, the Brightening Serum, composed of oils rich in vitamin C like sea buckthorn and kakadu plum. It doesn't matter if you don't know what those are. It just works. It's really great. This light yet hydrating blend is designed to brighten your complexion and promote an even skin tone. The Brightening Serum will leave your skin feeling refreshed with a dewy glow every morning. Also, try Nazareth Organics Original Tallow Balm infused with frankincense and myrrh. A powerhouse combo fit for a king, love you baby Jesus, proven to calm inflammation and revitalize the skin. Or try their Sleep Balm, a magnesium tallow blend with magnesium sourced from the ancient Zechstein seabed. That's off the coast of Holland, for those of you wondering. That helps your body relax into peaceful sleep. St. Paul tells us that our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit and must be cared for. You are not your own. You were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body. Visit nazareth-organics.com and use code LOOPcast at checkout. Thank you, Nazareth Organics. Love your stuff.
Awesome.
St. Paul said our body is a temple. I give God a basilica.
Oh, man. Okay.
I love this show. I love you guys.
It's going to be one of those Monday shows.
It's going to be
All
a
right.
good day.
Let's do it. Okay. Erica, get me in. So I almost am joking about it because there's so much stuff going on that it just gets lost. But CIA covert operations, we're hitting these drug boats. We're told they're terrorists. And Maduro is in a pretty active fight right now with the United States. So just give me the full context. Why are we even looking at that region today?
Yeah, like you mentioned at the top of the show, this has been amping up over the last, basically since Trump took office. But it's gotten even more intense in the last few weeks. Indeed, President Trump has become public that he authorized CIA covert operations. I did look into that. To be fair, those have been going on in Venezuela since Trump 1.0, probably since forever. But he's also deployed. We have warships down there. We've had jets, B-52 bombers off the coast of Venezuela this weekend, and special forces, also boots on the ground. Between 8,000 and 10,000 troops have been reported near Venezuela's coast. I assume they're on vessels. So we're shifting from targeting these specific drug smuggling boats. Everyone remembers, I think it was September 1st this year, we had they blew up a boat with 11 narcos on it, and it made headlines everywhere. And it seems to be shifting from that strategy to directly pressuring Nicolas Maduro and his inner circle to resign before they face a full-scale invasion. Maduro has responded. Trump, back in September, he also upped the what is it? Not ransom. What is that called? The hit?
Oh, the hit. Yeah. Well,
Thanks.
the bounty. Yeah.
Thank you. The bounty. They upped the bounty on Maduro's head to $50 million. I mean, this is like so crazy. Maduro has responded to all these pressures with nationwide military drills, defiance on social media and in his speeches, calling for peace. While the opposition figures, which includes the most recent Nobel Peace Prize winner, hope the pressure restores democracy following his disputed reelection. I mean, talk about disputed. This was probably 80% of the country voted to get the guy out, and he's still there. That's what we mean by disputed. This isn't like 2020 America. There's no question. It was a rigged election. So the primary movers on our side are Marco Rubio and Stephen Miller. Marco Rubio, of course, who holds 17 jobs in the federal government, the two most important being Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. Rubio's been a long time, shall we say, critic of the Maduro regime. He says it's a narco-trafficking organization that established itself as a nation state. And Steve Miller also has said things to this effect about the Maduro regime. And they place their amping up of the efforts against the Maduro regime on a real sense of domestic urgency. This is part of America First. This is how it's being presented. We have fentanyl deaths surging across the United States, and also the fact that these countries are sources of many illegal immigrants who have entered the country over the last 4 or 5 years. There's another factor, though, that isn't being talked about as much from the Trump administration, although it's been floated a little bit. But I dug into this. We have the immigration and the fentanyl issue coming from Venezuela, Colombia. But the other big factor is America's sort of trifecta of enemies, right? We've got Iran, China, and Russia. And the way I saw this described in the Times over the weekend, there's a kind of Monroe Doctrine, right? Monroe Doctrine. Josh.
History class.
One sentence Monroe Doctrine. What did that do?
I mean, it's literally President James Monroe establishing that we're going to be less concerned about what's going on in Europe, but we're going to prevent European powers from coming onto the New World in North and South America. So that was to make sure that all those wars against each other in Europe did not come to these shores, North and South America. So,
yeah, very much so. And so
in which we've largely failed for the last 30 years. We've given up on the Monroe Doctrine. Like, we're going to do everything all the time.
Right now is what China's doing in South America. Yeah.
100%. So this is a sort of like Monroe Doctrine, but for the East being Asia and Russia, which is most of its landmasses in the East. So these have become Latin America's and biggest trading partners, with China surpassing the USA during the Biden administration as the #1 trade partner with all of Latin America, I believe. But China has become Venezuela's largest creditor. They've lent over $60 billion to the Maduro regime in oil for loan deals, and Venezuela, of course, being the world's largest proven reserve of oil. Russia has also invested heavily in Venezuela's oil infrastructure, and Iran uses Venezuela as a sort of like key turning point in this hemisphere to circumvent sanctions. So it will offload its oil there. It'll conduct financial transactions through Venezuela to access U.S. sanctioned goods. So one analyst, Michael Shifter of the Inter-American Dialogue think tank, says President Trump has people telling him, look, if the USA doesn't get in there and give license to U.S. companies, which would require a U.S.-friendly regime in Venezuela, then China is just going to take over the entire oil sector, and we will be out. So really a sort of third factor there, fentanyl, immigration, and this is a sort of, I don't want to use proxy war again because we say it so much, but kind of grounds for combating our enemies, Iran, Russia, and China.
I mean, we say it a lot because it happens a lot.
It's true because it's real.
Yeah.
But okay, so where are we at right now? Strikes, at least 32 people have been killed by these U.S. strikes on the drug boats in the Caribbean since September 2nd. And the Trump administration has told Congress that we are in a, quote, non-international armed conflict with drug cartels, arguing that the narcotics they smuggle kill tens of thousands of Americans every year, constituting an armed attack and thereby giving the president the authority as the commander-in-chief to go after them. But they call it non-international armed conflict because they say that they're against drug cartels or terrorist organizations, most prominently Tren de Aragua from Venezuela, and also Sinaloa Cartel and MS-13. So they inform Congress, but they don't ask Congress's permission because we're not at war with another country. We're at war with terrorist organizations. Take that for what you will. We do have covert operations. We have authorized the CIA to carry out covert operations inside Venezuela. And right now, the narrative is we are trying to get a regime change. We are trying to oust Maduro. That is clearly, I mean, we have a bounty on his head. We are pressuring the Maduro government, quote unquote, to leave, and definitely leaning into the, hey, our military is about 32 times larger than
Yeah, I mean,
anything
even just announcing, is that an oxymoron? Announcing covert operations from the CIA? I can't remember the last time we've like, hey, we're doing this. So obviously he's sending the signal.
Yeah,
like, hey,
100%.
we're gonna up the pressure. We're gonna be very public about our opposition. Yeah, interesting situation. I've seen people really argue on behalf of the drug traffickers from Venezuela that they somehow enjoy rights as they bring the drugs to the border because they're not announcing, they have issues with the strikes or how they're announcing it or
dropping
something
terms
like that.
like due process. Like, did the guys on the boats get due process before we blasted them out of the water?
I mean, what a mess. Like, even just think about what
mean-
we've kind of internalized from the American perspective. China manufactures pounds and pounds and pounds, thousands of pounds of fentanyl, in which like this much could kill an entire room. Like if you were to heat it up and have it go in the room, addicting Americans to it. The way that they get it to America is to send it through Venezuela, which then comes up through the southern border. So they can't even make, like, people don't even make fentanyl really in Venezuela. I'm sure maybe a little bit, but all of it's made and assembled in China. So yeah, you say proxy war, you're correct. It is a proxy war. And didn't the opposition leader in Venezuela win the Nobel Peace Prize and then dedicate it to Trump?
Before we dig into like our takes on this, we should probably play. So we have this sort of divide in MAGA, right, where we have people who are very much against regime change, getting into another forever war, which is the concern here. Like, we're gonna get boots on the ground and we'll be there forever or something, and all. Like an Afghanistan kind of situation.
That's not a throwaway line. A lot of people are really concerned about that.
Yes, no,
I
it's
share those
totally
concerns,
real. So I have two clips here. I have the first is from Maria Corina, who's the Nobel Peace Prize winner who dedicated her award to Donald Trump, and then we have Kurt Mills, who's the director of the American Conservative. So they offer.
You found two different perspectives.
Yeah, here we go.
For sure. So what you said at 23 started?
Yeah, so start the Maria Corina at 44 seconds. Probably.
44.
First, this is not regime change because the change of the regime was already mandated by the people a year ago. So this is not about, an international movement to remove a legitimate president. This is not the case. Maduro is not a legitimate president of Venezuela. He is the head of a narco-terrorist cartel. That is true. And that is killing not only Venezuelan people, but also American people and people from other countries intentionally. This is what's happening.
I disagree with her assessment. I mean, she's saying that this regime is illegitimate, therefore it's not changing the regime. You're still changing the regime if you call for regime change. I mean,
right.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then you said you got Kurt's perspective.
Yeah, then we have Kurt's perspective. He went on Steve Bannon, and I thought he articulated sort of the concern from the anti-forever war crowd, which
Maduro is sort of Tin Pot dictator in South America, but not necessarily a major threat to U.S. national security. And I think the risks of going in versus keeping our powder dry are pretty clear. Latin America has a lot of problems. South America has a lot of problems. But what it doesn't have historically, and Venezuela is the one exception vis-a-vis Colombia, what it doesn't have is these massive refugee crises that we saw in the Syrian case. in the Libyan case. And so I think the way to think about Maduro is as maybe a Latino Gaddafi. And what do we learn from the Gaddafi case? What do we learn by not listening to Gaddafi himself? If you break it, you buy it, and you will see tons of people flowing over. So I think it is curious, and I think you just.
Oh, that's in the background of this video. I was like, what is it?
Oh, yeah, it's the music. Steve Bannon's like
expert on
outtake.
this. But you're hearing that people like Stephen Miller allied with Marco Rubio for this regime change plan. I think it could be completely counterproductive. And then if we're going to talk about fentanyl, the reality here, and I think there's concerning Iraq war parallels, the reality here is some of these guys are just cooking this up. Fentanyl is not what Venezuela is in the business of. Is there fentanyl in Venezuela? Probably above zero. But Mexico is the fentanyl ground zero, not Venezuela.
The CCP and the Mexican cartels are the fentanyl. Come on, you can real quickly.
All right, Steve's just going to go off here, but there you go. Is Maduro a Latin American Gaddafi, Josh?
I mean, that is a good question. I think what I'd like to get back to is the boats. And so I disagree with Rand Paul that they need to have due process, but I also just like, how sure are we that any given person in this boat is a drug dealer with a bunch of drugs, or they're just a person in a boat? Like, that's the question I'd like to know, because, I'd really like to make sure that our Navy isn't lighting up, innocent people, obviously. But like this idea, if it were a drug trafficker bringing in thousands of pounds of drugs, trying to smuggle it into our country, that's not due process. That's not criminal. That's a terrorist invasion. So I would have no problem them being smoked.
Yeah. Do you give any? So I actually wanted to ask you: Do you think that the American president should be more involved and aggressive with enemy regimes in our hemisphere than in the other hemisphere? So, like,
of course,
yeah, because they're closer to home.
Yeah, I mean, the Monroe Doctrine. I mean, I would like to keep out foreign, powers like China, especially, as a great threat. Now, I agree that China's doing more with, let's say, Mexico and down, I think, in Peru and stuff. I don't know if they're doing much in Venezuela. I don't know. I get it. We have this massive military. We have a lot of assets, and we could probably, that's why the Nobel Peace Prize winner was like, please just take it out. Like, you're so powerful, you could do it. But I am hesitant, because it's like, yeah, you break it, you buy it. And what happens if you get hundreds of thousands of, Venezuelans are like, okay, well, can I come to your country now? And it's like,
Yeah, I think the Gaddafi example is pretty illustrative, because I remember even like as a young kid, like people would make jokes in middle school about the way that he was gruesomely murdered. And that was my entrance into it. And then I didn't actually look into, why were we so interested in toppling this Gaddafi regime, looked into a lot of the propaganda. I believe he was in the process of nationalizing his dollar. Like, I think he was making currency moves to strengthen Libya. He was obviously a dictator. No one, I think,
nationalizing the oil. I mean, the dollars.
Yeah, I think it had something to do with currency, and I think but the Iranian regime tried to nationalize their oil, and that was when the United States was a part of taking them out. I believe with Libya, it was something about gold. They were trying to get off some currency to prioritize national security and their own economy, and that preceded a lot of the international push to take him out. But I don't think anyone would argue what has befallen Libya after he came is much worse than existed then.
Right.
I mean, it basically fell into a power vacuum in which competing terrorist factions now brutalize the people, are in constant war, and it's a complete mess. I mean, this isn't even someone you can deal with. So I do think, like, in my head, when I think about these things, two things can be true. Yes, I think we should be much more aggressive in our own hemisphere. I think we often misplace national priorities. Like, I think of even what happened, what was happening in the Red Sea with Israel. Like, we were moving a warship from the Pacific region with Taiwan. Like, I think we moved it out of there to move it into the Middle East. Like, I don't know if everyone appreciates that we have limited resources. And then also just the capabilities. I know, Erica, I know you want to dive into China a lot more. Like, their shipbuilding capacity, their industrial strength is light years ahead of ours, unfortunately, right now, based to a lot of our own ineptitude. So we have very limited wartime resources. If we were actually getting to a serious problem,
Well, it's the
we
Jones
need to
Act.
think.
It's not just ineptitude, but yeah, a little more complicated.
It's more complicated, but I think that the realism, I don't know, there's a realism of our place in the world right now, and that we should be a lot more aggressive in our hemisphere, especially at our borders. I think that was the biggest betrayal. It's like if we just had super secure borders and we allowed liberty within them, we would be in a much better position right now. But because the borders were so insecure for so long, we have concerns now that are basically an impossible task to uproot. I mean, people even talk about, we're going to get into the No Kings protests. I think a central part of that was immigration enforcement actions. And I think in some cases, like, they probably have legitimate gripes. Like, people were detained without that weren't illegal. But again, how do you ask, after 4 years of an open border and legitimate terrorists in the country, how are you supposed to accomplish that? So I think that's just like one of 100 problems that causes, this being one of them. Like the fact that we have free flow of drugs across our border, have had for a long time, and it was like open season for 120 plus countries to bring them in. So I don't know. It's complicated. I just thought we'd talk about it early on the upshot. I know No Kings is kind of more fun, like popcorn, because I think this is going to become a much bigger issue.
Yeah.
And you're going to be hit with a lot of the same arguments that I'm glad Gaddafi keeps getting brought up. I'm glad the Middle East keeps getting brought up, because the same thing's going to be said, by the way, about Nicolas Maduro. It's like, take him out, take him out, take him out. And Venezuela could become a much worse place than before if we do a regime change of any kind there. So
It also could improve, but you know,
it could. Yeah. Right. Anything could happen. In the words of Donald Trump, a bomb could drop on your head right now. Who knows?
Well, I mean, in general, regime changes in Muslim countries, I'm very, very, very skeptical about.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. All right. Before we get into the No Kings protests, Erica, we got another ad.
Yeah, we do. Did you know that American homeowners have over $32 trillion in equity, and criminals are targeting it with a growing scam the FBI calls house stealing? Scammers can transfer your title out of your name using a one-page document they file at the county. Then they can take out loans against it or even sell it behind your back. And the scariest part is, you won't even know anything is wrong until the foreclosure notices start arriving in your mailbox, leaving you with a financial and legal nightmare. The best way to protect your equity is with Home Title Lock's exclusive $1 million triple lock protection. This service offers 24/7 monitoring, urgent alerts, and if fraud should occur, their US-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title. So, when was the last time you checked on your title? If you were like me, the answer is never, until I started doing these ads. And that is exactly what scammers are counting on. The good news is we here at LOOPcast have partnered with Home Title Lock to offer you all 60 days for just $1. Click the link in the description below and use our promo code LOOP60 to get 60 days for just $1. And you'll also get a free title history report to ensure you're not already a victim. And make sure you check out the $1 million triple lock protection details when you get there. Click the link below or in the chat and promo code LOOP60.
Excellent. Okay, I'm just going to show something that I believe sums up the protest before we get into any of the statistics. Here is Nancy Pelosi from her account saying no crown.
Oh.
We're going to tear up the crown.
Ha, brave and stunning.
Josh, how long has Nancy Pelosi been in office?
She has been in office for 37 years.
37 years.
Yeah, actually,
that's
just
a
in
long
Congress.
time.
I mean, she was there before. You know, she had other offices before, but yeah.
There's a few similarities there.
And wasn't Barack Obama complaining last week about there's no like shadow prime minister of the Democratic Party? I mean, you could say Nancy is kind of the shadow queen of the Democrat Party.
True. I'm kind of jealous. Like, I wish that we had a Nancy Pelosi on our side. She's the most effective politician of many generations, probably. Okay, so a little bit of facts and scope before we get into the fun. Protests occurred primarily on October 18th, 2025. Interestingly, not just in the United States. However, in places like Canada, they did have to rebrand them from No Kings to No Dictators.
How
because
come?
they discovered,
How come,
unfortunately, Canada does have a king.
Oh, right.
And in fact, Mark
Stuff.
Carney in Canada this very weekend did his official pledge of loyalty, his oath to King Charles III.
Yep.
Just small ironies of history there.
Small ironies.
Great timing.
And so 20 foreign countries took part. I was shocked at the international appeal of the No kings protests. Although no dictators, no tyrants. Some had to adjust because they actually do have kings.
Yeah, like no crowns. They had to say no clowns.
I mean,
Because they have a lot of crowns.
I was like, do we even really? The jokes just write themselves. I didn't even really need to prepare for this segment, but it was well funded. So we had organizers and partners coordinated by the No Kings Coalition. See if you recognize any of these names. Led by Indivisible.
Sponsored by the AARP.
Yeah, right. They have to read ads during these protests probably. 200 partner organizations like the ACLU, American Federation of Teachers, Communications Workers of America, Human Rights Campaign, Move On, National Nurses United, Public Citizens, SEIU, United We Dream. A 1 million ad campaign by Home of the Brave promoted the events in newspapers. So, of course, this is the time where everyone gets to argue how many people actually showed up. Organizers are saying 7 million people worldwide.
That's a lot of people.
That's about 2% of the U.S. population, if correct. They say it exceeded the June 2025 protest, estimated 4 to 6 million. On over 2,100 events, participants include, they say, diverse demographics, young students, retirees, military veterans, and furloughed federal workers. By all accounts on the ground, I have heard that they were pretty advanced in age. And I say that out of love and respect for my boomers. Again, love my grandparents, but a lot of them were of an older demographic, certainly.
Well, and footage would also suggest that maybe the crowds weren't as diverse in racial makeup either. So age pretty homogeneously over 60,
Yep.
race, at least here in New Haven. I mean, you do a little drive-by here in New Haven, 100% white in a city that is 30% black.
Yep.
Well, actually, how about Birmingham, Alabama?
Even
where,
better.
Like, I don't have an image. It was handy, but like it's like literally a city that's 70% black, and there's a photo of everyone protesting in Birmingham, and you couldn't find a single black person in the whole crowd. They're all.
And Liz in the chat brings up a great point. Advertising in newspapers does show the demographic that they were after. Didn't think about that one.
That's actually really funny.
Didn't think about that one. Fantastic
Actually,
point.
in terms
Good
of
point.
newspapers, there is kind of an insidious thing. It's not related to this, though. Like, you know how you're for the H-1B visas, you're required to advertise for the job.
Dude, do not get me started on H-1B visas.
They advertise for those jobs in newspapers where they know people who are actually looking for jobs never would look. So they meet the requirement, and it's not.
Oh, interesting. Dude, also the
Really
the H-1B visa holders had access to FHA loans. So
they
got advantage. They were given advantages to the housing market that I, as an American citizen, did not have. And as of the program being shuttered this year, it went down to zero. So again, common sense. Dude, I could do a whole episode about how evil and loophole-ridden H-1B visas are. I saw a leaked memo of potentially just shuttering the whole thing.
Give you the deep.
Yeah, I will. It makes me so angry. And I actually did have someone email in about it, and I just basically vomited on a page of all the different reasons why I hate it. It's bad for Americans, especially young Americans. It's a training problem, not an international problem. There's no inherent DNA difference between.
All right, but getting back to
we'll
No
move on.
Kings.
No kings.
I mean, it's important. It is important, but like, I think you saw the clip too this time. Like this person that did an absolutely vile and disgusting.
Yeah, this was out there.
Gesture. Well, you got that tape?
Yeah. Oh, let's see.
Okay. So this is some woman who's gesturing. Gesturing with a gun to her neck, like Charlie Kirk being assassinated.
Yeah, it turns out she's a public school teacher.
Chicago Public Schools.
Chicago Public Schools.
Who's surprised?
No one here.
No, I mean, so unfortunately, like you go through, and it was tinged with a lot of like people beating Trump pinatas, like we need better snipers. Someone dressed up as Tyler Robinson, I saw, and like I don't know, like does this exist among like how would you feel comfortable enough to go in public and do this kind of thing?
Here's the kind of thing like there's a graphic that was circulating around the conservative Twitter over the weekend talking about how like birth rates amongst conservatives hasn't actually fallen really that much at all since the 1990s, but it's dropped like a rock for the left, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, awesome, we're gonna win. You know, conservatives are having more children, liberals are not. But Yoram Hazani made a good point. Conservatives have more children, but the left educates them.
Right. It's who do you give your children to form them? Doesn't matter how many you have.
There's a graphic too on the amount of time that you spend with your kid. I believe gets like you only get a third of the time you would at, I believe, middle school.
Mm.
So it was an interesting graph just on how much physical time you actually spend with your children. And like, obviously it starts with 100% when they're born and then really tapers off around middle school. So yeah, I mean, you're completely right. You are formed by the people that you give authority to throughout the day.
100%. Yeah. But to answer your question, Tom, about, what kind of state of mind would that woman have to be in to be like out in public mocking Charlie Kirk's assassination, saying bang bang repeatedly, and like shooting herself in the neck with her handgun there. It's amazing what people are able to do in the presence of a mob, right? And I think that it can be mobs and huge groups of people can
inspire and invoke such things, right?
Yeah, they can inspire us to great things, and they also can just drag us down to the lowest common denominator. So, like for example, I've experienced at a papal mass in college, and John Paul II was coming down the center aisle of St. Peter's, and it was just this mob, and I felt myself like lifted up and carried away in adoration for Jesus Christ, and people were just shouting the name of Jesus. This was probably 8,000 university students at that mass, and that was like the beauty of a large group of humans who are all like elevated by this man's presence to praise God. This is the opposite. This is like the photographic negative of that kind of a gathering, right? This is just she's deformed almost to the point of she's being irrational, she's being cruel, she's being everything ugly that she then accuses the people she's protesting of being. And this is why it is so important that our children be raised in the classical tradition so that they're raised to be able to step outside of these sort of emotional moments of being drawn into something and ask themselves critically, okay, what am I actually doing here? What's actually going on? What is our end goal? And how are my actions either forming me or deforming me as a human person? And being able to step away and walk away from a situation like that, it takes a certain kind of virtue and strength that, unfortunately, I think our educational system has not prepared us to exercise.
Yeah, I think of these moments at protests in general because, like, as a young Catholic kid, like I went to March for Life every year.
Another good example.
And
yeah.
It's just, so I feel like funny enough, like I would almost pay, if I was on the other side, I would pay a woman to do something like that. I'm not saying that was done here, but because like, what does that give the opportunity to the other side? And then how does it get picked up? I remember the Nicholas Sandmann moment. And that was a radicalizing moment for me because I remember not only seeing, and there's been this big debate online about like disowning your friends or people within your coalition. Like you need to cancel over the Politico release. And Josh, you talked about it in your Twilight Zone. And I remember that moment being a moment where I watched that on a nuclear scale where Nicholas Sandmann, who now we know all the facts, did nothing wrong and acted like a perfect scholar, honestly more scholarly and gentlemanly than I probably would have at that age. Like he had every right to just be in that guy's face, get off me, push him, whatever. This was and for those who forgot,
he kicked the guy in the nose.
Right, he was the Covington Catholic kid. He had a Native American protester in his face with the drum.
At the March for Life.
There's one picture. There's one picture of him smiling, and then the guy in his face. And then everyone took it and ran with it and said that he was agitating, that he was a racist. I mean, the things said about him were crazy. And I watched conservatives, quote unquote, denounce this kid, knowing nothing about it. Denounce it, evil, terrible, whatever. And he got a huge paycheck one day after the lawsuits came through on slander and defamation, as he should have. I mean, his life was basically ruined as, I think, a high school kid.
Yeah, he was 15.
And
CatholicVote came to his side, by the way.
And we did. And I think about that now, and I think Matt Walsh has been over this over the weekend. Like, I think now's the time to realize what we are up against. I just watched these No Kings protests in which, ironically, people were allowed under this tyrant to mobilize these mass scale protests in which, of course, you would not be able to do if you were under some type of a tyrant or whatever. Like, see how they treat people in North Korea. And I watched people just openly promote violence. I saw signs all over the place saying,
Kill Trump.
wish the sniper wouldn't have missed. Charlie Kirk, they defaced all of that kind of stuff. There's people that genuinely want to kill you, that are radicalized to the point where they're comfortable enough taunting you with violence. And if not Trump, you, right? Because Charlie Kirk was the big moment where it's like, oh, this isn't just about politicians. This is about people that share your political views. I mean, Charlie's probably even a little bit to the left of my political views, if you ask me. What moment are we in right now? Like the moment isn't we need to have all these little squabbles infighting of people of goodwill. We have like real radicals we have barbarians at the gates. So I'd keep that in mind with all the online discussion about this. Like this was a real mask off moment, I think, for many people. Like, again, it keeps happening and happening and happening. When are we going to address it? Right. Like there's all these open threats of violence. You feel comfortable doing this and really like,
Yeah.
I mean,
moments now.
I'm with you on the violent stuff, but I guess like the thing about the No Kings that just kind of drives a lot of us most crazy is the left, use bulldozers to close open air parks during COVID. They sat by and did nothing as President Biden enlisted our federal agencies to clamp down on free speech, kick New York Post off of Twitter, suppressed Americans' ability to share their opinions online. Like, and you're calling Donald Trump the tyrant. I mean, it's absolutely asinine. And that's why it's like gaslighting in the extreme. So, I mean, these people are so full of crap.
Yeah. Remember when another radicalized moment, remember there was a Coast Guard boat chasing down a guy surfing.
During COVID.
And
he's
never
alone
forget
on the
that
ocean
video.
surfing and they're
Just
like,
surfing.
you are a vector.
Yeah, they literally
Get off the
tackled him.
water.
So yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I couldn't buy garden seeds, but
Yeah.
in Michigan, but you could go to a strip club or abortion facility,
Right.
but whatever.
Thanks,
All
Gretchen
just a
Whitmer.
joke. All just a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously. All right, let's go to the good news now. Bring me
Okay.
up.
I actually had something very beautiful happened at the No Kings in Portland. And this is a little bit long, but I really think it's worth it. This is, yes, good things can happen, even at No Kings.
Why do you hate Trump so much?
I haven't liked him since 1986, and it's personal. I know where your guys' agenda is, and you can just keep moving, okay? Because I've had these discussions with you guys before. You say you're independent journalists or whatever the fuck, and then you nitpick.
Sorry about the language.
So please move on.
Have I not been fair to you? Okay.
No, you have.
We'll
you
move
have,
on. I'll
you
respect
have.
that.
No,
Okay.
I'm just saying.
They're with me. They're with me.
It's okay.
They're just my camera guys. They're with me.
No,
It's just
fine.
me and you,
That's
brother.
fine.
It's just me and you. That's it.
But we're done.
Okay.
All right.
All right, man. Hey, take care of yourself. Okay.
And I want to tell you one thing, okay? Charlie Kirk, I didn't agree with that. Not all of the left, were willing to, are out there making fun of that horrible situation. I didn't like the guy. I didn't like what he, a lot of stuff that he stood for, but to take that kind of action and take him away from his wife and his kids, that's fucked up.
I know that you're an atheist, but I mean, I would love it if you came to church with me sometime. Just chill.
I was raised a Christian.
Yeah.
My parents were Christian. My grandmother, who I was very close to, she came down with cancer. We moved her into my house, or into our house, and for 9 months during the age of, I was 15 at the time, my brother was 13, and we prayed, and we prayed, and we prayed. Please save our Nana. So we prayed and we prayed and we prayed, Yeah. And she just got worse. And then it would be the nights where my parents were, with her in the bathroom at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And she's throwing up because of the chemo. It broke me. It broke my brother.
I bet.
And then when I started questioning, my prayers and I started questioning the church, I got shunned. Family pushed me away.
Yeah,
Just
you
because
can
I
stop
was
there.
asking.
So this goes on a little bit longer. And by the end of the video, the old guy who was broken by his Nana's death and suffering from cancer, he actually agrees to go to church with the guy the next day. And he's like, I'm going to come to church with you, because the young Christian guy is like, that was wrong. They shouldn't have shunned you for that. You were in pain. And I want you to come. You should never let that move you away from Jesus and the love of God. And I was so moved by this, because I had just watched probably 45 minutes of No King stuff and finding out what was going on. And it's so dark and you're like, oh my gosh. But then a moment like that, where this young Christian guy is going around talking to people one-on-one, invites this dude to church, and we should pray for him. We should pray for that he does find God again. So there is beauty, there is goodness.
Well, I think that also reveals an important aspect of we keep asking the question, like, why are these old people that are supposed to be in the golden years of their lives, like spending time getting angry, riled up on a Saturday? That like once you got past the initial layer of like the bitterness and anger and the conflict, you get down to the heart of it. Whereas like he had a really traumatic experience and then the way that he was treated, the way he perceived he was treated, pushed him away from satisfaction and peace. And if you have no outlet for that kind of anger, like you look for opportunities to be angry. At least I think. And then that's kind of how you end up at these guys. I think that's a really good, actually a great video illustrating why I think a lot of people are at these protests. And sure, there may be some, truthers out there who are like, I really just want to stick it to the king or whatever. But I think most people are just angry and looking for a way to express that. Not too many I doubt there's too many satisfied people at this protest. I guess that's kind of the point of protest. But Josh, what do you got?
Okay, so I'm not saying I'm a fan of Disney, but this is kind of interesting. Did you see this? Disney is getting like patriotic.
Wait a second.
Watch this video.
I need evidence.
Sora's out there, Josh. Got to watch out. AI's everywhere.
What's from Disney Parks account?
All right.
Hello, I'm Patrick, your chief flight attendant. Soon, as you sail through our spacious skies, you may see amber waves of grain, purple mountain majesties. That's right, we're gonna be soaring across America. What better way to celebrate the country's semi-quincentennial than with a limited time sea to shining sea itinerary? America's packed a lot into her 250 years, so you'll want to pack a lot of party favors into your rollerboard. This includes Betsy Ross flags, hot dogs, apple pies, bald eagles, bunting, pocket constitutions, powdered wigs, and of course, these little beauties. Nice work, pal. Happy 250th, America.
I do love his voice.
Wait a second.
Was that?
Are we getting got? I thought the Betsy Ross flag was racist.
Remember they had that on the shoes and there was the big controversy about it. Nike pulled it after Kaepernick had a problem with it. But the Betsy Ross flag is okay now.
I mean, that is a beautiful poster. I do love.
So, okay, here's a philosophical question for you, Josh. Because a lot of people, I imagine, are going to be like, well, Disney's still bad, and they're just trying to pander to get back to the good graces of Trump. Where are you with that? Like, are you, it's good, even if it isn't, even if it just is pandering for people to start moving in the right direction, in your opinion? Or are you like, oh, we still got to be wary? Like, how do you feel about it?
We should still be wary, but I'm long a believer that people can be cornered into virtue. They can do the thing they ought to be doing, after they've exhausted every other possibility. So, I welcome this. I much prefer this than a Death Star of, hedonism and barbarism. So, if
well played on that reference.
If they say, if their shareholders are like, we got to lean into this patriotic stuff, we're losing a lot of customers. Hey, try it.
That's right.
I'm all for it.
I like it. Maybe Netflix will pick up on that too. Not so far.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay,
I got another. So I'm going to have a Sean Duffy 1-2 punch. Good news, Twilight Zone.
Love Sean.
All right. Sean Duffy, Secretary of Transportation. I watched this video and I actually was like, I have to watch every video a couple of times to make sure it's not AI. This was in Indiana, and now Sean Duffy's picked up on it. I'll play some of the video. I think they believe the swearing, but to be fair, I'd be swearing too in this situation.
Got to be f***ing me.
So I'll annotate here. It is a truck driver driving in Indiana. He is watching another semi-truck drive the wrong way down the road right at him. And he puts his truck right in front of him to make sure he stops and tries to figure out, what's going on here.
What are you doing?
I'm going that way. Right here. But it's not working. Then I'm done. I'll go the other side.
Let me ask you a question, man.
Okay.
You are going the wrong way down the freeway. You are committing a felony right now.
Okay, what I'm doing, sir?
Well, one, why the fuck going the wrong way down the freeway?
No kidding.
That's that right? I'm doing it, sir.
So it becomes pretty clear. They were about to come up to a toll, it looks like, and he just turned around at the toll to go the other way. And so Sean Duffy did pick up on this because I saw his video and I was like, I had people share this around because it's from Indiana. And I was like, this is the most unbelievable. I could not even imagine a semi-truck coming the wrong way down the road. I mean, I know people who have actually died from this kind of thing happening. He said, my team has reached out to the trucker who recorded this chilling video. He did the right thing, reporting the trucker driving the wrong way to police. This could have easily ended in disaster. Foreign truck drivers not being able to understand the rules of our roads is a crisis that is putting lives in danger. US DOT is doing the work to fix it and save lives. I'm glad someone is, because all I've seen is like CDLs being given to people who should not have CDLs. We have clearly people who don't understand the rules of the road somehow came in possession of a CDL and can barely communicate with a truck driver who's trying to say like, hey, don't go the wrong way down the road. I mean, there's obviously, this is such a like layup problem.
Well, he's arguing
with
him like, but I needed to go this way. I'm with Bill in the chat. I think he got his license in California. And
Sean,
awful.
you didn't go far enough because someone a business gave this guy a truck. Someone put this guy into a truck into America. And that business
it's not like this guy
shuttered.
acquired a semi-truck by buying it.
Like people are complicit in this problem that literally could kill someone. I mean, this would have killed someone, could have killed someone. It has killed people already. This is like a layup red level 5 problem we need to solve immediately. And businesses need to cooperate. I mean, give them amnesty, whatever you got to do. Get these people off the road.
Part of the problem is Sean Duffy's dealing with a million different problems at once. He's got this problem, and then he's also got the problem with air traffic controllers. Right now, a lot of air traffic controllers are working for free because of the government shutdown. But not just that, you have computer systems that haven't been updated in decades. So like Newark Airport is just a disaster. I flew into there recently, and it's just like delay. So Sean Duffy is a talented guy. The only thing I wish he wouldn't have done is taken on the NASA administrator job temporarily. But
we need you to focus, brother.
It's just whack-a-mole.
But two good news there. Sean Duffy is addressing this and taking it seriously. Second good news, shout out to this guy that put his truck in front of this truck to solve this. Like if there was not an ordinary citizen that stepped up and stopped this guy, he could have just kept going and he would have hit someone. 100%. So shout out to the virtue of the driver and confronting him, calling the police. I mean, he went through all of it. Like, thank you. That's good citizen activity. Okay, Church Corner. Finally, we get to the candy. This is awesome. I'm going to make Josh wait for his favorite, I think, but we have 7 new saints in the Catholic Church announced over the weekend. Says their live shows Light of Christ to the world. I have summaries on each of them. You can just sit back and enjoy. Let me know if anyone in the chat was excited about any of these in particular. And boy, I'm going to try my best with pronunciation, but
this is the best part.
Intense. All right, I'm going to show pictures too because the pics go hard. All right, here we go. First up, Ignacio Chukrala Maloyan, born April 18th, 1869 in Mardin, Turkey, to an Armenian Catholic family, orphaned young, studied in Lebanon, ordained in 1896, and became Archbishop of Mardin in 1911. Served in Egypt and Constantinople before returning to Mardin amid Ottoman persecution. During the 1915 Armenian genocide, he was arrested with 400 others and refused to convert to Islam, leading to his execution on June 11th. Eligible for sainthood due to martyrdom for fidelity to Christ, upholding virtue against evil, and was canonized. I believe we have a direct quote. Muslim, there is no way I would reject my religion and my Savior. You can only beat me and cut me into pieces, but I will never deny my religion.
Yes.
I love it.
I love this guy. Hey, shout out to our Armenian brothers and sisters too. You guys have endured so much.
The Armenian genocide. I can't believe people don't know. If anyone really wants to go look into the depths of evil, look at the Armenian genocide. It's really shocking that more people don't know about it.
Yeah,
horrific. Horrific. And lots of beautiful martyrs, including this one, came from it. Next up, Papua New Guinea on the map.
Woo!
Peter Tarot. Born in 1912 in Rakunai, Papua New Guinea, to early Catholic converts, became the youngest catechist at 21 in 1933, leading evangelizations, baptisms, and education in his village. During Japanese occupation in 1942, he sustained the faith community, performed marriages, and defied polygamy orders. Arrested in 1945 and executed on July 7th for refusing to renounce Christianity. He is now a saint as a martyr defending marriage and family
Yeah.
and was canonized. Papua New Guinea's first native saint and symbol of lay evangelization.
Woo.
Shout out Peter DeRock.
Love it.
Pray for us.
Next up,
Oh, she's beautiful.
Vincenza Maria Poloni, born Luigia Poloni on January 26, 1802 in Verona, Italy. As the youngest of 12 children, developed a vocation amid family hardships and began aiding the poor. She co-founded the Sisters of Mercy in Verona in 1840 and Charles Stebe to serve orphans, the sick, and dying, professed vows in 1848, and led the congregation's expansion until her death from a tumor on November 11th, 1855. Eligible for sainthood through heroic virtues of charity, humility, and mercy in serving the marginalized, and was canonized.
Yes.
Next up,
Women. Oh, there she is. Another
ladies.
beautiful one. Yep.
Maria Del Monte Carmelo Rendiles Martinez. That's a
Good job.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts of that name. That's awesome. Born August 11th, 1903 in Caracas, Venezuela, without a left arm.
Caracas.
See, I try my best. Caracas.
It's all right. It's important though.
That would have been like a Tucker Carlson moment. Like, can you pronounce Caracas? Do you know?
Caracas,
do you know the population of
Caracas?
Caracas?
Yeah.
If you want to regime change them, without a left arm. Oh, no.
Josh left.
Yeah, Amazon Web Service.
That's right.
Joined the servants of the Eucharist in 1927, professed vows in France, and returned to lead in Venezuela. Founded the Congregation of Servants of Jesus in 1965, focusing on education, empowerment for the poor and marginalized women, and advocacy despite her disability. Eligible for sainthood via a miracle, curing, hydrocephalus.
Yeah.
In virtues of resilient mercy and inclusion. Canonized. Awesome. Josh is stranded in the cold right now. Let's let him back in.
Native Venezuelan too. So maybe we should ask her to intercede for Venezuela. Right?
Seriously.
Sure.
All right. Maria Trincati, born February 16th, 1883 in Brescia, Italy, to a poor farming family, entered the Salesian Sisters in 1908, served as a nurse in World War II, and vowed missionary work after surviving a storm. Mission to Ecuador in 1922, reaching the Amazon's Shuar people in 1925, provided healthcare, education, midwifery, and peace mediation amid dangers until her death in a plane crash August 25th, 1969. Eligible for sainthood through a miracle, healing a Shuar man, and heroic virtues and compassionate service to indigenous peoples. New saint. Next up, Saint Jose Gregorio.
Oh, nice mustache.
Solid stash on my boy.
Wow.
October 26th,
Pogo
1864, in Trujillo, Venezuela. 2 Venezuelan saints.
2 Venezuelans. It's a sign.
Studied medicine in Caracas and Paris, becoming a professor, scientist, and innovator in bacteriology and x-rays. Known as the doctor of the poor for treating the indigent for free, especially during the 1918 flu, joined secular Franciscans in 1899 and attempted priesthood, but hindered by health. He died June 29th, 1919 in an accident. Eligible for sainthood via miracles and heroic virtues, harmonizing faith, science, and charity, and is now canonized. He is Venezuela's first male saint.
There we go. That was it. First male saint.
All right, the moment Josh has been waiting for.
Yes.
Bartolo Longo.
Oh, yes.
Now a saint. Born February 10th, 1841 in Latiano, Italy. Rebelled in youth, dabbled in occultism at university, and became a satanic priest.
Whoa.
But suffered despair, leading to conversion in 1865 via a Dominican friar. Became Dominican tertiary in 1871, moved to Pompeii in 1872, revived faith through catechesis, founded the Sanctuary of Our Lady of the Rosary in 1876, and established orphanages and social works, died October 5th, 1926. Eligible for sainthood through total conversion, heroic virtues. He is known as the Apostle of the Rosary and missionary works uniting prayer and charity. He is now canonized.
Yeah, he was one of the patrons of the Dominican annual Dominican Rosary pilgrimage in DC this past fall, and we got the privilege of being there. There is a new chapel at the Basilica in DC for anyone who's been there before, but it's dedicated to Our Lady of the Rosary, Pompeii, and it is in memory of Bartolo Longo. So it's a very beautiful little tiny chapel right near the front when you walk in first. So everyone needs to go back to see that. check it
I
out.
love
But the
it.
Dominicans were all like, a month to go, we're gonna have another Dominican saint. Yeah,
That's sick.
they're living it up. I love
Cool.
this story so much.
Any final thoughts, Josh?
I mean, I feel like he's a great saint of our time. I mean, that's why John Paul II called him an apostle of the rosary. You know, he devoured himself by modernity. You know, he goes to the university, studies the occult, would rag on his friends who are Catholic, you know, and but at the, you know, sometimes it just takes someone coming up to him, like you said in the other video, and a Dominican friar came up to him and was like, "You're not even happy. Like, you know, let's go. Let's find another way." And he surrendered himself to Our Lady and became, you know, invigorated with a love for everyone else. So, I mean, it's just, I love it. It's awesome. It's a great story.
Here's the thought bomb I'm going to toss out here, because you said of our times. I almost feel like, I think of the new atheists, like in Erica, where I think were you slightly enamored by the new atheists?
You think of me and the new atheists?
No, I just remember talking to you about the new atheists, like Sam Harris and all them, and they like had a real kind of social cachet at the time. And I think there's a period in time, I remember kind of like middle school, high school, where it was kind of cool and edgy to be atheist.
Yeah, for sure.
I almost feel like right now, if you were to sit down right now into time, I think people think atheists are stupid. Like, I actually think that it's not taken seriously, that it's not appealing at all, that they don't have any social cachet. Maybe I'm just not in these circles. Maybe I'm just completely bubbly. But I do feel like there's a little bit of that kind of like little swagger to Christianity right now. Like it actually, I don't know if it's just because we're all more aware of evil right now. If things don't make sense to people with AI and whatever, they're looking for something real to hold on to. And I mean, what's the only institution that's lasted 2,000 years? I mean, it's Catholicism. So is that just me? I almost feel like there's no, like, what's our times? Like, our times right now is like, that's kind of the appeal. That's kind of like the edgy on the come up. Like, why are you living so counterculturally? And maybe it's the misery promoted by kind of all the other like modernity type lifestyles. Like, what is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of threads going on there. I'm sure Josh has some stuff to add to this, but a couple of threads. One is that it is true that we've seen a rise in the rate of conversion to Catholicism. We've covered this on the show. The numbers coming out of Western Europe, where 2 years ago, maybe France had 1,200 adult converts, and now it's like 8,000 or something like that. I forget the exact numbers. And similar trends here in the United States, where there is an openness and a what seems to be a growing trend in Gen Z, especially back toward the church, especially among young men. And yeah, we have a great deep episode on that. If anyone wants to go check that out on the LOOPcast channel on YouTube. I think there's also there's at the same time another trend. We continue to bleed older Catholics, right? We continue to see people leaving the church, but I do think that the new atheism and that sort of trendy pop atheism from Sam Harris back in the Dawkins, it's kind of burned itself out in a way. And there's two places you can go from that. One is into this sort of neo-spiritually, new agey occultism, which we do see a massive rise in as well right now, if you look at numbers. And the other is an openness to the one true God. And so I agree. I think that atheism is a little more passé. It's not gone. It's still a strong strain, especially in like the higher educated elite kind of circles, but there's more of an openness to the transcendent and the reality that there's more to life than just the material, for sure. I would agree.
Well, there's a short little.
I was just going to ask a quick follow-up on Erica. You said burned itself out. What do you mean by burned itself out?
So the new atheism, their arguments were mostly predicated on like the problem of evil, which I think that will always be a reason people leave the faith or leave the church, is the problem of evil. Why is there suffering if there's a good God? Ergo, there is suffering, ergo there is no good God. And so like Alex Cooper, that kind of younger, taking up that banner. So their arguments though were so extreme that if there's no good God, there's no spiritual, there's nothing beyond the material. And that's just ultimately not satisfying. And so that can be a fad for a while, but it's not something that can actually undergird a society or undergird a culture, because it's empty. There's nothing there. And the reality is, human beings, we are aware that there is more to life than, because we are more than just materialism. So even if people can't articulate that or make an argument for, the existence of God, a la Thomas Aquinas or something, if they can't do that, the new atheism arguments will not ultimately be able to sustain themselves long, because they don't reflect reality. Reality has a way of re-entering the conversation when it has been shunned too harshly and too extremely, the way that the New Atheists shunned it.
Yeah, I think the people that I encounter, at least, I think there used to be kind of a certainty of atheism, and like a certainty and like a moxie, almost like a confidence.
Yeah.
Like, I am confident there is no God. And I need to tell you about.
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
won.
And I feel like that's almost
The Enlightenment
gone.
won.
Like, if I talk to it, I'd say the best way to describe it is more like a nihilistic agnosticism, or kind of a passivity to just resignation to the way things are, and to just not. I think because there's so many things that just like vie for your attention now that you can just easily give your mind to, say like, oh, this is stupid, but like Instagram Reels or TikTok or whatever. Like anytime you get a little uncomfortable, like, I'll just go watch TikTok, or like, I'll listen to this podcast.
We're very
or whatever.
insulated from
like,
suffering in a way.
Insulated from suffering, but even thought. So like if you go through most of your day, most people's days, yeah, in a way. So I just think that people are like, I don't even want to engage in that because it would just require so much thought or whatever. But I have lost contact with the kind of like edgy, confident atheists. Like I just don't see it anymore. So I was just curious. Total thought bomb side thread. What were you saying, Josh?
I mean, Jordan Peterson, keeps looking like he's stepping, steps closer to possible Christianity. We'll see how that shakes out. Dawkins, aggressively atheist, was so taken aback by the rise of radical Islam that he's called himself a cultural Christian. Not that he's a believer per se, but these
Peter
are like,
Boghossian says that too. Yeah.
Yeah. These are interesting things. And then Charles Murray, he's on the conservative side of things, right? He wrote The Bell Curve. He wrote Losing Ground on Welfare back in '84. He wrote Coming Apart, which is actually, I think, a really fascinating book, because that's the book where he showed that in fact, the nation's poor live by the countercultural values taught to them by the elites, whereas the elites themselves actually live by traditional concepts of work and marriage. And so just by being somebody like he is, who observes trends and the way things are, what now happened? Well, he put out a little book taking religion seriously. No one would have said this guy was religious 10 years ago, because he's pretty well-known agnostic. And so, something's afoot, so it's not the Gen Z stuff for men. Absolutely. But like something else is going on with the boomers. Some of these guys who had long time, either atheist or very agnostic, they're taking another look, and maybe it's just because they're at the end of their lives or near,
That's a good
Charles
point.
Murray's 82 years old, like, I don't know.
Right.
There are no atheists in the foxholes.
And I'm like, Elon's got some interesting beliefs, but I think he's made the point too, like basically when Christianity leaves, there reports a vacuum in which he calls like the woke mind virus takes over. And I'd much prefer like the cultural Christianity, basically the structures that come with it. So I think a lot of people see the benefits of a Christian culture and want those benefits, but
right, because they've been living on the residue of Christian culture.
That's what Dawkins was talking about.
The fumes of Christianity, have been really nice. And like, I think as people see that leave, there becomes kind of more anxiety of like, well, what comes next? And unfortunately,
I think public naked.
People often say like, oh, you didn't like the religious right, like just wait until the post-religious right comes. And they have a good point. I think they have a really good point. Like if you look at like really hard right movements without God, it gets pretty nasty. And not very good for humanity.
We've seen it before, right?
Yeah, many times. Okay, Twilight Zone now. Thank you for entertaining my thought bomb, Josh.
Okay, so obviously my dream job here is at CatholicVote, but my second dream job is being a headline writer for the New York Post. Now, first, let me set this up.
You can still do it, Josh, if you apply your mind and you work hard.
I know. I pray.
And take less trips to Spain and elsewhere. But
the leading candidate for, and he probably will get elected mayor of New York City, Zoran Mandami, was seen in don't do that part first.
Sorry.
Give it away. Give away the farm here, bro.
Sorry.
So he was campaigning with somebody over, the last few days, and this person, you can show the photo.
Okay, I can show. Okay.
Yeah, the first photo. Here we go. This is on his own Twitter page. I had the pleasure of meeting with Imam Surah Wahashi, if I can say the name right, one of the nation's foremost Muslim leaders, he says, and a pillar of the community for nearly half a century. Yeah, he was. Who is he? He was one of the people who were not indicted for the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oops.
Ruh-roh, Reggie. So again, some people are like, is Mandami clueless or is he evil? And I'm like, what if it's both?
Yeah.
This guy
he's
taking a photo of a guy who was unindicted co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing.
Oh my gosh.
That was the precursor to the World Trade Center going down in 2001. And so, like, this is just very evil, right? But this is why I love the New York Post. Here's their cover of this photo.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Photo bomb.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Photo.
Oh, no.
The New York Post headline writers are like the soul of Josh Mercer. This is the ethos of
my id right here.
Yeah, if Josh was unchained by Christianity, imagine the work he'd be capable of.
I'm just
seriously
saying.
Unburdened by what has been. This would be Josh. Yeah.
Let him loose. Let the big dog eat.
Photo bomb.
It does not mitigate the gravity of the situation in the New York mayoral race right now, but it's really funny.
Hey,
he's going to win.
You got to get the attention of people somehow. And if this gets people's attention.
You know how stupid this is? How stupid this is? Like, the Democrats, the best they could do is run, like, basically in the court of public opinion, a convicted, like, pedophile, like, sex pest. Oh my gosh. And who's, like, openly corrupt that everyone knows about, like, horribly bungled COVID. Like, that's the best they had to offer for a Democrat. And then, like, is it Curtis Silva, the other guy?
Silva,
yeah. Who's, like, clearly loves New York, but, like, got no shot. And then, like, this kid from South America just comes over and, like, sure, I'm going to do sweet TikToks and I'm going to promise free things to people. And, like, that's it. You now are in control of one of the largest cities in New York.
Largest city in the United States. And this guy wasn't even a citizen, like, 7 years ago or something like that? I mean, it's like, come on, man.
Oh my goodness.
That's where we're at. I can't believe Cuomo is the best they had to do. And Eric Adams is not better. That was the other thing. Like, oh my gosh. Although his social media activity is hysterical. He's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Win.
Erica, you're up.
I think in Paris we had the ultimate no kings, no crowns protest because 4 suspects disguised as construction workers using a hydraulic lift entered the Louvre Museum Sunday morning, about 30 minutes after it opened. They took this crane. You can see the picture of it there on the screen. They take the crane, they put it up into the third floor window in the back of the museum. They smashed a window, and in a 4-minute heist, 4 minutes from the time the window smashed to the time the thieves escaped, they were able to abscond with multiple crown jewels and jewelry from the Napoleonic era. And this was just an insane heist. And I think I've been infected by the Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12. Like, I think we all were a little bit because, grand robbery is a terrible, terrible thing to do. It's a terrible sin. But man, it looked really attractive and amazing. And just the feat that they could do this in 4 minutes and get away unidentified. One of the highest security museums in the world, supposedly. Although maybe not. Was pretty impressive.
Did they rent the crane or was it one there?
I mean, it seems like they drove the van up in the early hours of the morning and parked it. And then when the museum opened, I don't know why they waited for the museum to open, but this was broad daylight. And yeah, they got away with a crown. So yeah, no crowns.
They took advantage of the oldest social bug of all time. If you wear a neon vest, you can get in anywhere you want.
Exactly.
It's just in human nature to be like, oh, they're probably where they need to be.
This is like Law and Order 101. You just put on the workman's vest and you can get it just about anywhere. Very
continues to be proved over and over again, and this time in France.
Oh my goodness.
Is it possible the security guard surrendered?
Say it again.
Is it possible the security guard surrendered?
It is.
Got to look at all angles.
It is France. I mean, come on, froggies.
Come on. Someday they'll return to glory. Today's not that day.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I think we will be seeing multiple film renditions of this event in years to come in our old age. Be like, remember that heist? Anyway, kind of crazy.
I'll probably get in trouble for that comment, but We got all the Frenchmen.
Oh yeah, we'll get the French lovers, the Francophiles in the email.
Francophile's gonna be all over the email inbox for sure. But, all right, mine, Sean Duffy part 2 as promised.
Oh, more Sean.
Sean, just a great guy. I'm a fan. Here is the original News Nation thing.
AOC right that the
prompted,
GOP.
Okay, so like I'm gonna play this, and in your head, try to think about what was controversial about what Sean Duffy said. Just I really need you to like stop what you're doing.
Get
and,
ready
really
to tee
put
off
some
on
mental
something.
energy.
Okay.
All right, I'm on it.
All right.
Mental energy into what could be controversial about this.
Is AOC right that the GOP is luring in men by legitimizing their racism and their desire to be kings?
Right, because you have Republicans who say men aren't toxic. Right, we want to celebrate masculinity. And what's happened with young men today is pretty remarkable. They've been told you should be responsible. You should respect women. You should get a job. You should work hard. You should actually go back to church. Be honorable. That's what they're called to do by this new movement within the Republican Party. And they've embraced it, which is wonderful. But I love your opening on the No Kings protest, which is actually a Hate America protest. Donald Trump, king, he won the 7 swing states. He won the popular vote, and then everything he's doing, he actually ran on the campaign trail. He told everybody he was going to do this, and the majority of Americans voted for him. This is just disenfranchised Democrats, but also George Soros is funding it. The Socialists of America are funding and supporting it, and so are the Communists of America supporting this rally. So again, it is the offbeat crew that lost and are angry that are going to come and protest and say Donald Trump is a king. No, he's just a great, strong American leader.
Okay, so time for your guesses. What part about this offends? Okay, and for context, it was a political writer that was offended by something.
Oh, okay, go Josh.
I already know the answer, so I'll pretend that it's that
Withhold.
it's communists.
Communists? Erica, any thoughts?
I'm going to church.
Bingo.
Yeah. Did I get it?
Josh Gerstein. Yes. Should an official Twitter account be used to hector people, male or otherwise, to go to church?
What? Hector?
Hector.
Eric, I know you're a fan of both classic literature and good words. Hector.
I am also a fan of Hector.
Because I'm dumb. I was like, what does Hector even mean in this? And why is everyone picking up on this Hector word? I'm like, okay, Hector from Troy. He wasn't Brad Pitt. He was the other guy.
Bannon.
And I had to look up like, what that even.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to think like, what does Hector people mean? I like Hector means to bully, harass, or aggressively intimidate them, often through domineering or overbearing speech or behavior. Hector people to go back. That is hectoring people to go back to church.
He was actually describing what the movement was, although he was approving of it. But it wasn't like he was saying, he was belligerent, being belligerent.
Hector.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go far enough, in my opinion. Hector, that's soft, man.
Yeah, like
Charmin
you should go to church.
Exactly. So yeah, maybe I should start adding that to the lexicon to say
Hector's
hectoring.
a great word.
Good word, but a dumb takeaway from this. I mean, Trump definitely had the cabinet out running, doing a lot of these interviews, press, and then making fun of the No Kings protest, which was hilarious. I think Trump himself tweeted a picture of him with a crown on, which is just awesome. Like, no, you have to take these seriously. Like, but hectoring people to go back to church. I need to hector people to go back to church. I'm not going far enough. If this is that bad, and Sean Duffy, Catholic, has 1 billion kids. I think he has like 9 kids. They're beautiful. Just by all accounts, like awesome man, lives a great life. Hector people to go back to church. I think the country would be remarkably better if people went back to church of some kind. So that's what I got. Hector. I can't get over that. I need to find a way to slide that into like a title to a show or something. Hector.
All right.
Okay, before we get out of here, we have, what is this? Steve Cortez got a new documentary on MAHA.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, what's up, Josh? Can you tell us what this is?
CatholicVote Senior Advisor Steve Cortez has got a new documentary on the MAHA effect. This is, he interviewed a bunch of people in Virginia just talking about how we can make ourselves healthy again. What's being put in our food, what's being put in our medicine, just really trying to re-examine that. So today at 3 p.m. Eastern, there's going to be a special edition of The Loop. It's all about the MAHA movement and the movement that's trying to build a healthier and happier country. So check into that, and there'll be information about Steve Cortez's great documentary. So all that more coming up. If you're not signed up for the Loop, go to CatholicVote.org/getloop and sign yourself up for a free email that you'll love. Every time, anytime I go anywhere, I get every time. Thank you so much for the Loop. I love it. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's great. So universally loved. Everyone loves the Loop. Sign up.
Are you hectoring people to sign up for the Loop right now?
He's hectoring.
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Well, good show, gang. If you want to help us out, leave a review, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Go head over to YouTube. We got a lot of extra good content on there. That helps out a lot. So go ahead and subscribe there. Go check out our content. And pray for us, of course. Today we have Psalm 62, 5-8. So I'm going to pray that, and then we'll get out of here. In the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. For God alone, my soul waits in silence, for my hope is from him. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my fortress. I shall not be shaken. On God rests my deliverance and my honor, my mighty rock, my refuge is God. Trust in him at all times, O people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. Amen.
Amen.
St. Thomas More, St. Fidelis, Other Lupe, pray for us, and we'll catch you guys